record to the cloud. Cool. So we're talking about Kenneth Wapnick. I chose the videos for this week, and they are stuff about mind, body, gratitude, pain, and your quiet center. I really liked all of these. I took a lot of notes. So we should follow the format that Jared always likes to use. Let's introduce ourselves. So I'm Nathan. I'm in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And I'm excited to be here because, I don't know, all these videos had a lot of good stuff in them.
I am Maria Boldman. I'm calling from New York City. And I am really excited today because as I was sharing with Stana, we both like, oh yeah, we took like a lot of notes and it was like very, very juicy. So yeah, that's great.
And I'm Stana Warren. I'm from Southeast Michigan, and I'm excited to be here for the same reason that Nathan and Brent and
Maria.
Brain freeze, a senior moment. The same reason that Maria and Nathan are here, which is because these are really, really juicy videos. And I was telling Maria that, you know, I listened to them the other day, and then decided I was, was going to sit down and seriously listen to them again and take my notes. And I sat down at 4:30, and at 5 minutes to 8, I'm still scribbling away on 30 minutes worth of video. So.
Awesome. Great. Well, let's talk about these videos. I want to share with you guys a few of my highlights. So I took a bunch of notes, but let me just grab a couple of sentences here from each of these videos. So there are a couple about mind, body, and I guess the most important one is that the course can never be understood if I think that I'm a body. So it's always good for me to remember that nothing in the course is ever about the level of form. So anytime I think it is, I'm having level confusion. It is always and only about changing your mind and forgiveness. And Kenneth emphasizes this in this video, as he does in many other videos, that we are not asked to deny our physical experience. Instead, we're asked to use it as a road back to the mind. So it is this ingenious system, this course that we've been given, where we can use our physical experience every day as a classroom to get us back to the mind. Let's see. Anytime we use magic, it is basically, magic is any solutions on the level of form. And again, those aren't bad, but we just have to know what they're for, right? And because they're not bad, they're kind of not anything, they don't mean anything. We don't attack them, we don't attack other people who use them, and we don't attack the magic that they're using. We instead are kind about it, and we respect other people's decisions because we know that that decision that they have made for magic or for ego is the same powerful decision maker that can be used to choose the miracle instead. So those were my highlights from the mind and body videos. The second one about gratitude, I guess the third video, I also had a lot of stuff on. And I think the main thing is having gratitude for, I think there's kind of a way of having gratitude for everything, it seemed like, in the video. Kenneth could basically have gratitude for everything. Like someone might say, oh, what about my broken leg? And he would say, well, you can have gratitude for that because we used to see despair everywhere and sought to undo it with special relationships and projecting onto our special relationships. And Maria, I'm going to mute you because I can hear your papers and stuff moving around.
Oh, it's probably my papers. I'm sorry. I'll mute myself.
Oh, okay. Right, so we saw despair everywhere, and now we have a lot of great we have a lot of gratitude for this course because it has transformed this despair that we had into gratitude for what the world can teach us. It used to just be pain, and now it's sort of like pain with somewhere to go with it, you know, something to do with it, a reason for it. So the world is not the source of pain and happiness, but our right and wrong minds. And we're just grateful to kind of have the opportunity. So what I got from that is that every time something in the world, it's almost like we can focus on anything in the world and have that be a reminder for us to come back to mind. All right, then we talked about pain. Do what your body needs in peace. My favorite part was when at the end, when he said, okay, pain comes up, I'm experiencing pain. Okay, great, what next? And doing whatever you need to do to take care of yourself and knowing what it's for, you know? So what I wrote down is, I look at the pain through the eyes of the big deal about it. Or I look at the pain with the Holy Spirit. All right, and then the last video was Quiet Center. And I didn't write a lot about this, but I still really appreciated it. Just remembering that no matter how bad it gets, no matter the ravages of war, he says, there's always a place of peace for us to return to, that place above the battleground that we've talked about in other videos. And he says at the end, I no longer want the disquiet of the ego. I want the quiet center. All right, those are my highlights from the videos. Who would like to share next?
I could go. The first thing I want to say is that thank you very much for the videos, because this week I was having a conversation with Christian, and I was telling him that I was having some type of level confusion. And I was really surprised when I heard the first and second videos, and they were all about level confusion. So I'm going to take in my notes. I think the first thing that he just said, that Ken Wapnick said, is when he's talking about what do we need to do, like the source of distortion and mistakes in the understanding and implementation of the course is to understand the meaning of forgiveness. And to do that, we must understand the distinction between the mind and the body. And when he says that the body is never sick, it's always the mind, the decision-making mind that have chosen to believe in the ego, which is itself its the sickness. And so when he's talking about the body, and the fact that I do believe that when I read the course, like Jesus is really speaking to the me, that is the body, I was like, okay, whoa. I saw it as a lot of work to be done for me to get to that level in which I can hear something or read something and not think that I, the body, is the one reading it. So that was something that I took, like, yeah, note. And I like also this thing, like one way to appraise your progress in the course is when you do that. So now I have a clue that, how am I doing? Shifting. In the second video, I like it because it provided another context for the level confusion, this time with magic and the miracle. And this thing that I really haven't heard before is like all magic thoughts stem from the original magic thought, which is that we believe that we will be better outside of heaven. And from that magic thought, then arises the solution of projecting out that thought. And then other people will be punished, and sin would be perceived outside of the mind. So our decision to make that tiny mad idea would be preserved. I thought, like, I really hit me. And that the miracle brings the problem from the world back to the mind. So something I'm beginning to get is that everything is in the mind. Like, that is, the place that I really would like to go to. And also when he says this about magic, and I think you mentioned it, that the problem is not that we use magic, the problem is the mind that have chosen to believe in magic. So how do we deal with magic thoughts? So the first thing is you do not attack them. And if you get angry at you or others for using magic, what you are doing is you are freezing the mind and preventing us from ever returning to the mind. And the form that takes is to allow people to go through their magical solution, because we are all in a fear-weakened state, We fear God's punishment that causes us to flee into the world and hide there. And we use all kind of magic to prevent us from getting to the mind. When we find ourselves attacking others for the use of magic, what we are doing is preventing ourselves and them from returning to the mind to choose again. It's more helpful and kind to allow people to choose magic without attacking it and basically saying, I respect the power of your mind that have chosen magic, because it's that power that can now choose to reverse itself and choose the miracle instead, by allowing others the freedom. By allowing others the freedom, we allow ourselves the same freedom. Then there is no attack. And I like this, that the world is a gigantic magic show. And we want to return to the origin of that magic show, which is the power of the mind. And if we respect, again, that power of the mind to choose the ego or magic, then we respect the power of the mind to choose the Holy Spirit of the miracle. So what I am getting from this is like, hey, you respect this, and in a way, what you are doing is allowing yourself to go the other way. Like, it is a coin with two sides. What you do with the ego, you can choose the ego today, but the power your mind has to choose the ego is the same power that you can use to choose the mind. And then gratitude. Well, I like that you choose one that is so like Thanksgiving. Are you kidding me? It's like, whoa, that was great. And something that I like was this almost at the end when it says, it's this humble gratitude that we takes us home, because he is saying that this gratitude is like being humbled and accepting that people are helping us. And that is like, yeah, accepting it is this humble gratitude that will take us home. We can truly learn how to love. We cannot truly learn how to love without having this sense of gratitude for the lesson that will teach us how to love and remind us that not only do we love, but that we are love itself, having been created by love. That was like, love that. And the videos about pain, again, the first question is about pain and our awareness of this life. And the woman asked, does it ever end? And I like the response, like, if we are not aware of the pain, we have no motivation to choose against it. The problem is that the ego likes pain, and then pain becomes a part of the shadow. Why do we write the script with so much pain? It's because so the ego luxuriates in it. And it allows us to point fingers at others and to feel like victims. And the last thing you want to do is, oh, I like this when he is saying that, don't even go coursing miracles on yourself when you're sick and accusing yourself like you are creating. He said, if you do that, oh, wait, I lost my physical pain, guilt, and the guilt accelerates the pain. And we can go through the pain in peace or anger. So I guess we choose to go in peace. And the quiet center, again, is like it's available to us. That's the house. That's where the Holy Spirit is. And we are not denying the world, but we are in the midst of it. And we're able to go to that quiet place at any moment, like putting ourselves with Jesus above the battleground. Pain and pleasure keeps us far from that quiet place. And there we see things really different. So yeah, those are the notes that I took for that.
Wow, thanks, Maria. Those are great. Yeah, I forgot that part about we are love. That takes it home.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, you guys here.
Yeah, hi, Linda. All right, I'll go next if that's all right.
Great.
Wow, between Nathan and Maria, you guys have basically covered a lot of what there is. But I tend to go off on tangents. So instead of reiterating a lot of what you guys have already said, I'm going to talk about the fact that one of the things that I really liked was he said to understand the meaning of forgiveness, we must understand the distinction between the mind and the body. Well, for me, it seems like no matter how many times I hear somebody talk about what the A Course in Miracles definition of forgiveness is, I get confused because my brain wants to go back to, the standard interpretation of, relieving someone else from a sense of blame or responsibility. So I went back and I read the section in the Manual for Teachers about what forgiveness is. And it says, forgiveness, the face of Christ has to be seen before the memory of God can return. Whoever looks on it no longer sees the illusion of the world. Forgiveness is a shift in perception from fear to love or from body to mind. So the whole idea is that we can never get to where we need to go from that confusion level of the body, because we've got to get back to the mind. And you guys went through all the descriptions of the magic and stuff, but one of the things that interests me is that when you get to something that's on the level of truth, you find it everywhere. You don't find it just in A Course in Miracles. You don't find it in one tradition. You find it everywhere. And there's a quote from Buddha that sums this up quite well, as far as I interpret it. And I'm going to insert a couple of things that are not really part of Buddha's quote, which relate to A Course in Miracles. So the quote is, all we are is the result of what we have thought. It is founded in our thoughts and made up of our thoughts. If a man, oh God, I shouldn't have written it in red. I'm going to start again. All we are is the result of what we have thought. It is founded on our thoughts and made up of our thoughts. If a man speaks or acts with an evil thought, and for evil, in A Course in Miracles, I would insert body-focused or magic. So body-focused or magic thoughts, suffering follows him as the wheel follows the I really made the mistake of writing in red. I'm trying without my glasses, that'll probably help. If a man speaks or acts with an evil thought, suffering follows him as the wheel follows the boot of the beast that follows, hoof of the beast that follows the wagon. If a man speaks or acts with a good thought, and there I would insert mind-focused or miracle thought, happiness follows him like a shadow, the shadow being the Holy Spirit or the mind of God that never leaves him, which is true identity. And then a more succinct quote is, we are shaped by our thoughts. We become what we think. And then for the gratitude, the thing I liked about his gratitude, in addition to the things you've already said, is he said gratitude goes hand in hand with humility, because we recognize that someone has helped us or taught us something or given us something. And I really like that idea of realizing that arrogant people are not grateful. And the ego always, always, always wants to be arrogant. So remembering that gratitude fosters and goes hand in hand with humility is a way for me to help tame my ego. And the other thing that, when he was talking about the key principle, is that we should be grateful for every living thing, because it's onto them that we project our unconscious guilt. And if we are unaware of our guilt, then we have no opportunity for forgiving it. When we can see it, Jesus shows us that we think we're upset about, what we think we're upset about is externally is simply an outside picture of an inside condition. Therefore, those things outside of us act as a mirror, because what we're really seeing is a reflection of ourselves, not something that's actually outside. And that gratitude is the opportunity to remember who we are and who our source is. And in terms of pain, pain is a fact of life. I mean, physical pain or emotional pain, it is a fact of life. And like he said, we can deal with it either through peace or through agony. So getting upset about it is counterproductive. And what actually causes the suffering of pain, because pain is inevitable, but suffering is not. Suffering is a choice. Because suffering is dwelling on the pain and wanting something to be different than what it really is. And going back to Buddha, the Four Noble Truths are that suffering exists. The cause of suffering is our attachment to impermanent things, attachment to the illusions of this world, wanting things to be the way our ego wants them to be rather than the way they are. The release from suffering is to detach yourself from those things and to recognize that those things are an illusion and they aren't real. And the way to do that, the way to accomplish that detachment, is to live the Noble Eightfold Path, which is made up of right view, so you have the right concepts or ideas about life, right thought, which is your determination and your awareness and your intention for how to live, right speech, which is the choice of words that we use, which are words of truth, compassion, praise, and altruism, or actions that benefit others. And then action, which is our behavior in accord with the truth done proactively. Because behaviors can't just be avoiding something that's unholy. We have to actively live our lives in a way that produce holy conditions. And that's whole with a W, not necessarily just H-O-L-Y. And then right livelihood, which is a moral or wholesome career that does not harm others. Right effort is the diligence and skillful means and courage to go about our lives. Right mindfulness is the contemplation or mind that acts from pure awareness. And then right concentration, which is meditative concentration, using focus of the mind to settle the distracted body so that we can cultivate ourselves, developing and exploring our inner capacity. So, I mean, those are, I mean, right along with what he was saying about pain and how to, you know, eliminate it. And then for the last one, the quiet center, that to me is summed up in Psalm 46:10, which is, be still and know that I am God. Sorry for my stumbling around there.
No, that was great. Thanks,
Nathan,
Anna.
you and Maria are so articulate and you just go flow, and I feel like I'm scattered and go everywhere.
Rock and roll, Santa.
No, that was really great. I mean, the great part about everybody sharing is that we see it through other people's eyes, and it sort of like makes it more multidimensional from other sides. So we really appreciate your views.
Honey?
Linda. Hi.
Uncle Nathan, her Aunt Maria, and her Aunt Stana. Hello, Aunt Stana. Lucy here.
Hello.
Hello, Aunt Maria. My Uncle Nathan. That's your name, Nathan, right?
Hell yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. It says Team DSI. I forgot. Yeah, it's Nathan.
Lucy,
it's hard for you guys. I don't have it.
She gives you all kisses, right, baby?
I don't have a name tag like everybody else. Oh, maybe I'll.
My baby.
Oh, oops. I think I just hid myself. Sorry. Anyway, Linda, why don't you tell us your highlights from the videos?
Oh, me? Oh, okay. I saw those videos. I can't get to my notes right now, but it's basically that when you learn from A Course in Miracles, you have to think like God, see what God would do. And maybe you want to look at it, maybe how you would do it. And most likely, what you get from God is to do it in love, okay? So you have to think like God. To some of us, that is hard. I'm from New York. Attitudes over there. I'm out here in California, nice and sweet. 89%, okay? I'm not stupid. I'm going to go to New York from the 23rd to the 29th to see my family and go to the snow.
Yeah.
I don't miss the snow, but I miss my family. So it's now with the Course in Miracles, I can literally try to do the best I can. But my boyfriend would tell you, okay, with my computers, and I was trying to get on the Zoom, I was like, trying to get on. I'm like, trying to get on one cell phone, another cell phone. Now I took a picture of the number of our group. I'll be able to put it somewhere in all of my tablets and my devices so I know where to get it and get Zoom downloaded in all of my devices so that way I can get right to it. So I try to catch up with the technology, but I do the best I can. So with the Course in Miracles, I mean, I'm learning, and with the Course in Miracles, I have literally learned a lot better to forgive myself and others, and my computers, if I let them live. You know, your computer's like this, and you're in a rush. My boyfriend will tell you, I scream at my computers. So it's literally, and to a point, you have to have a better attitude. That's what you need to do, in a nutshell. But you can only do so much. I mean, if it helps you to maybe use a Bible quote, if your genius was Bible, just do the best you can. But always know God is always there. If you think he isn't, hello, idiot. He is. I got practice from my mother from Queens, New York, not to mess with the big shot. My mother, she was very tough. So I got my practice from my mother, not to mess with her. So I know not to mess with God. And believe me, I got I learned a lesson. And I miss my mother, you know, and today is her birthday. She would have been 80. And it's hard for me today, you know? I'm emotional. I'm like irritable. I had things to do, but I do the best I can. I just wish my mother a happy birthday. I put a post on Facebook. I mean, finally went through. Technology must be taking a break today. And I do the best I can. I know I'm not perfect, but I know God loves me. And that's the best I can say it. Thank you, everyone. And
Wow,
Lucy,
Linda.
right, Lucy?
Thank you.
Love
Those are
Lucy.
great.
Lucy gives you all kisses and gives you all the dentist sticks. That's DENTASTIX. Those are cookies you can give to your dog. If your dog
Okay,
has a
great.
small mouth, pick a scissors and cut them up. That's what I do. Stretches the budget.
All right, thank you, Linda. Let's do forgiveness in the field. So I'll start out, and I had a couple of short ones to share. I originally thought I was scheduled to do some work this weekend, so I wouldn't have been here. But it got canceled on Monday, and I was sort of happy because now I get to stay home, but I was also disappointed because now I have less money. So, you know, I had a little bit of a reaction when I got that text, but I could pretty quickly picture that person in my mind and do my forgiveness work. There was one other I was going to share with you. Oh, yeah, it was just kind of yesterday. I just felt sort of a general sense of malaise, like I was not basically my, you know, caffeine was a little imbalanced, and I don't know, like just like not interested in doing any kind of work. And I had to remind myself that, you know, there's no order to miracles, right? And no order of difficulty. And just even this me being sort of generally dissatisfied or unhappy is another thing to work on and forgive. And I don't think I really understood it until listening to another video this morning, and I was like, oh yeah, that's another thing that's happening. That's my classroom for the day. So those were my forgivenesses in the field. Who else wants to share?
I'll go. My forgiveness in the field was yesterday. I was coming back home in the morning from a yoga class, and I was walking down the sidewalk. And I was walking on the side of the street, and there was this man walking towards me. And he was getting closer and closer. And there was a moment at which I felt attacked. Like, you know, I got the feeling of being attacked. And then I got this thought that it was like, oh, you would not feel attacked if you see that you made him up. So at that moment, I just took a step to the right and I just kept walking. The feeling of being attacked totally dissipated and I was at total peace. And when I got home, for the whole rest of the day, anything that happened, my husband, whatever, my daughter, and I was like, I made them up. And I did it so much that at a point I was so grateful for having made up these people that allowed me to forgive and to be at peace. And I'm like, woo-hoo, that is, and even today, it's like sticking with me. So yeah, that was my forgiveness in the field.
Nice. Good work, Maria.
Thank you.
All right, who else wants to tell us about the painful things that happened to them this week?
I'll go. Mine happened on Tuesday, and I'm being haunted by this medical bill. I went to see a doctor in May of 2017. And at that time, I had it was like the second month that I'd been switched to Medicare, because when you turn 65, you have no choice. You have to go on Medicare. And so at that point, Medicare became my primary insurance, and my Aetna became my secondary insurance. So they submitted incorrectly. And for some reason, every few months, this keeps coming back because they resubmitted it. Medicare's paid it. It's all been handled. But this is about the 8th time that I've gotten a bill for this same thing. And I have to start from scratch and walk them all the way through the payments that came through Medicare and how it went through all the insurances. And so I got another one, and I had to call them again. And their solution is they're going to resubmit it to Medicare. And I said, you're going to resubmit it to Medicare, and they're going to tell you it's already been paid. And she said, ma'am, that's all I can do. That's what my supervisors instructed me to do. So I'm going, okay, that only means that we're going to be having another conversation at some point in the future, because it's not going to be the solution. And I asked to speak to a supervisor, and this always happens, and it so annoys me. And, you know, trying to calm the blood pressure down, she said that he's a wandering supervisor, and so that all that you can do is leave a voicemail message. But of course, they'll always call back, and of course, they never call back. So she put me to voicemail, and I left the message, and it never called back. And trying to deal with my level of frustration has been a really good lesson, because I most of the time I've gotten pretty good where I can back off and not buy into it. And for some reason, this one was just, I think part of what frustrates me so much is I feel at their mercy, because I keep telling them over and over again and giving them confirmation numbers and claim numbers and everything, and they write it down in the notes. They've, you know, I told them I spoke to this person. She said, yes, I can see that, but it's going to come back again. So I can't really say I've forgiven this one. I'm still stewing on this one. But this is my challenge for the week, to try and forgive this.
Wow, sounds like a tough one.
Oh, I hear you, Stana. I hear you. I hear you. One day at a time.
Yeah, well.
I think you can do it.
Yeah.
Do the best you can. That's all you do, Stana.
The one thing I have to say, and this is the part of the thing that, at least at this point, none of them are, you know, threatening to send it off to collections, because they can see that I've called over and over and over again, and it's just on their end that things are just not getting recorded properly.
Yep.
And I'd like to say this is the only instance of that, but unfortunately it's not true.
Yeah, sounds like a mess.
Hello.
Well, thank you for sharing that. It sounds painful.
For venting and fuming. That wasn't exactly a lesson in forgiveness. That was actually a lesson in frustration, showing me where I
Well, you're sharing where you are on the path to forgiveness. We are respecting the power of the decision maker in
That's
you right now, wherever you are. All right, Linda, hit us.
Okay. So I do have a short temper. I mean, I'm from New York, so us New Yorkers, we're always in a rush. I mean, it's like when we tell you to do something, you do it, you move, and that's it. No questions asked, no arguments presented. I'm like this with my computer. I mean, trying to get it to get going. I try to go on my Trump phone. It's like, you know, my regular cell phone is like, so finally on my little tablet here, it was like, I said, good, I'll let you live for 5 more minutes, huh? I mean, more hears me sometimes than I scream at my devices because I'm trying to get in. And I'm like, but frankly, I mean, I'm 57 years old, you know? I mean, the thing is, back in the days in the 80s, all right, there was this 80s music. There's no cell phones then. There were car radios. HBO. That's really it. And you get movies on VHS then. Back in those days, it was VHS. Nowadays, there are downloads. I mean, when the movies come out in the theaters now, I mean, they come out almost the same day on an app called Morpheus TV. So that movie, Bohemian Rhapsody, that's on Morpheus TV. And it's good, so I get a chance to watch movies and not spend a dime. It's like a good way. I mean, I also forgive my finances. And I do the best I can on my finances, I do, you know. I mean, I have a trip coming up. I have to save money. I mean, honey, when you go to airports, and you know, money's going to be expensive at airports and stuff. So I'm going to try, like, make snacks and meals. And on Facebook, it's XTSA on the messenger thing. So, honey, what I'm going to do is maybe this weekend or Monday, I'm going to pack everything, get everything ready. All right, so I know everything's ready for the trip, okay? And to show them, all right, what I have and what I'm bringing. I mean, because I want to make sure that I'm not going to break the TSA's rules, you know? I mean, I have to make sure. I mean, now there's a 3-1-1 rule. You go and bring 3.4 ounces of liquid. What, that's like a shot glass of whiskey. Come on, huh? But hey, you have to do the best you can to follow by guidelines. And no matter where you go, no matter where you are in authority, you're always going to have guidelines you have to follow. So me, I have guidelines I have to follow. My cousin, he's helped me to run this house, so him I have to answer to. I'm going to see my cousin on the 23rd to the 29th. I'm also going to get to visit my best friend, Stacy. She's staying at a nursing home. I do have a best friend in Philly. I mean, I'm staying all the way out in Wading Rivers, an hour and a half just to get to Queens as it is. So going to Philly, I think that's maybe like a 3 or 4 hour car ride. I don't know. I don't know if I can take that. I have to see the schedule, maybe my finances. That's why I have to forgive my finances. And plus, when I go there, I mean, I don't know. My cousin be like, hey, here's money. I don't know, you know, I mean, and I can't expect that. I'm doing the best I can not to spend a dime. I really only go to Walmart maybe to get food that I need and that's eat. So I have more than enough milk. I try to get Thanksgiving dinner today. I'm not going to get one, so I'll just go to the Alano Club here in town and have a Thanksgiving meal over there. And basically that's it. So Mark and I, we're going to go to the Alano Club and celebrate Thanksgiving over there. My family down on the East Coast, they're going to enjoy themselves. All right. So I just have to forgive myself on time and finances. I'm doing the best I can. I'm not perfect, but only God is. And honey, you don't want to mess with God. He knows before you know.
Linda, you're doing great.
Doing the best I can. That's all I can do. And I'm from New York.
Well, thank you for sharing.
Where you from, Nathan? Oh, I love that hat you're wearing, Nathan.
Thanks.
Looks so
I'm
handsome.
from Texas.
Ah,
all right, somebody else needs to pick videos for the next week.
Are we having a call next week? Is Thanksgiving Friday?
Thanksgiving's on Thursday, right?
Yeah, but you know, I don't know. Any of you traveling or something?
No.
No. Okay.
Yeah,
I'll be here.
I don't think I will.
I'm gonna leave that.
Next Friday.
Jared may cancel it, but I'll leave that up to him. So I'm not going to say anything about that now. If it gets canceled, whoever is picking the videos for next week, it'll be just the week after that.
Okay. I'll tell Jared do it.
All right. Sounds like we're all nominating Jared to pick videos. That sounds good to me.
He's the winner.
That's right. Because the thing is, after Turkey Day, I have to be on a plane. And I think I'm going to be in New York, I think either about 5 o'clock or 8 o'clock. I don't know. I have to ask the airlines to make sure at the time. So, I mean, 10 minutes to try to get on Zoom. I don't know. So, I'll play it by ear.
All right.
Okay.
We'll see how it goes. Yeah, I'm sure Jared will let us know. So I'll text him and let him know that he's picking the videos and that everyone wants to know if and when we're having the call.
Okay.
It was great seeing you guys. Thanks for being here. It was
And this
awesome
is hello.
that everyone took notes and shared what, their experiences. I took a lot away from this call, so glad everyone could be here. And if I don't see you next week, then have a great Thanksgiving. And otherwise, I'll see you on the next call.
Happy
All right, bye,
Thanksgiving,
everyone.
people. Bye.